Welcome back to The Great Journey.
The
Great
Journey.
We are 6 friends dedicated to re-exploring the vast universe of Halo, one installment at a time. We'll be covering the books, graphic novels, films, and of course the games. We'll be discussing, learning, and reminiscing about UV blue spiked watermelon along the way. If you thought you heard the last of me, well, you're sorely mistaken. And if you've sorely missed my voice as host, well, you're in for a treat. Whew, you could tell I did not write that one. My name is Robby. Please give a warm welcome to my recurring hosts, Will, Charlie, Tom, Jim, and James. Last episode, we covered the second act of the Cold Protocol, discussing chapters 11 through 26. Recap time. Keyes and the crew of Midsummer Night are on new orders to trace down the origin of Covenant weapons on the black market. The clues lead them to the city of Silion, where they meet and capture the arms dealer Kincaid. However, their caravan is attacked by rioters and they must make a desperate stand against the rebels. Watanabe is killed and Keyes only escapes with help from ODSTs dropping from orbit. Back on board, they are able to trail the departing weapons to their final destination, a secret human city amid an asteroid belt. As they close in, there is a surprise mutiny on board by a rebel sympathizer. Zhang meets his end, and their vessel is captured by the rebel council. Keyes, now ranking commander, surrenders to save the lives of his crew and becomes imprisoned. Speaking of the council, Delgado is also captured by the deceptive Peter Bonifacio, who is after the hidden navigation data. Knowing his life is valuable so long as the data shard is kept safe, Delgado bides his time, but the incoming Kestrel weapons freighter means that his safety is soon running out. Meanwhile, Thal and his crew are fighting and destroying human colonies, but have not yet learned the location of their homeworld. He receives new orders from the Prophet of Regret to figure out who in the Covenant is repurposing and selling alien weapons to humans. The trail leads him to the rebel asteroid city, but before he can investigate further, he is double-crossed by Jiralhane escorts. His vessel is incapacitated and he is captured and made prisoner by both Kigyar and humans alike. All of our major players are now converging into the story. So right now, we're going to give out a little listener shout-out. We've got an important teaching lesson upcoming, but first we'd like to do something new that we have not yet done on our show. We appreciate all of our followers and listeners on our various platforms, but it is a special treat when we hear some supportive feedback from them. So we'd like to give a shout-out to a listener that took the time to write to us and tell us that they are enjoying the show and are actually reading along with the media as we go through it. So Le Hasselhoff on Discord, this one is for you. Thank you for reaching out, and I am so sorry if I mispronounce your name, and we're glad to have you along.
I think you got it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said it with enough French accent, but we'll move on to our favorite part. Well, actually, now before we proceed with the media, we had an in-depth discussion in our previous episode of an arguably paramount topic. And being as we call ourselves The Great Journey, Perfect, right on cue. We need to get on the same page about the journey, the Reclaimers, and the Covenant-shattering revelation that brought existential war between the humans and aliens. So as mentioned, last episode, we brought up the Prophet's deception in covering up the information leaked by the Oracle, which is media we covered back in Contact Harvest near the end of it. We could not agree on exactly what the significance of the revelation meant, and more so what Reclaimer actually means. So, let's clarify. First, the definition of a Reclaimer, according to Halopedia. Reclaimer is a forerunner term used to refer to a species or member of said species chosen to be the inheritors of the mantle, the stewardship over all life originally held by the precursors. A Reddit post by Unfocused Door 32 might help explain the importance of that word and the effects of the Oracle's revelation. I quote, A Covenant ship used its luminary to scan the human colony of Harvest, and they discovered hundreds of thousands of Forerunner artifacts. In response to this, two prophets entered the Dreadnought in high charity to consult with the Oracle, or the Forerunner AI, who reveals that the artifacts are in fact the human inhabitants, who he calls the Reclaimers, and declares them to be his makers. The two prophets are horrified by this revelation, as the existence of forerunners that were left behind would mean that the great journey failed and that the rings will not lead to believers ascending to godhood. Alongside another prophet, these two would become the new leaders of the covenant, truth, mercy, and regret, and declare war on humanity, hoping to keep the truth under wraps. Contact Harvest never says anything about the mantle of responsibility. Reclaimers simply meant that humans were meant to reclaim the Forerunner technology, but under 343, it was recontextualized to mean reclaiming the mantle. End quote.
So really quick, it just dawned on me. So the luminary for Harvest showed hundreds of thousands, the people. Has no one else in the covenant over all these years got indicators of hundreds of thousands or millions of things from their luminaries?
That's a good point.
Well, no, because that's the first contact that they had with humanity, right?
Yeah,
So they never
but
would have had the opportunity to have them show up, right?
they've gone to other planets and glassed other planets. So those with luminaries would see millions of indicators of Forerunner, I guess, tech in this
Does
case, you know?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like other ships, like after Contact Harvest, other ships
Yeah.
with luminaries would show artifacts on these planets that they're destroying, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And like no one
That's a
questions it.
were there a lot of luminaries out there, or was there only
That
like
that
a
would be my follow-up
handful?
question. Yeah, that would be my
yeah.
follow-up question is like how many actually have luminaries on their ships? Um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Maybe we can assume they tinkered with them so that it didn't happen like that anymore. Or maybe they still just use that as a reason for like, hey, they're blasphemous. They're showing up. They're not supposed to be lighting up or they're weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Tom's
Yeah.
onto something where I think maybe they finagled the different symbols for the luminaries and what they mean.
I will definitely look into this because it's a good question. That's a
Mhm.
big plot hole if so, but
Well, we got a nice well actually for next week already, so
yeah.
we're on a good pace.
Put it on the books.
So continuing onward with wrapping up our well actually here. Now, we did bring up the term mantle of responsibility last episode, but as the previous text explained, it is important to clarify that in our show's path, we have not yet heard of this term or in our media so far. So, as we strike it for now from our lexicon, it is important to also clarify that at the writing of Contact Harvest, many Bungie editions, and also insinuated by the Oracle in that novel, that the humans were its maker, which highly insinuates that humans and Forerunners were interconnected one way or another. This stance is subject to change, but for now we hope to have come to a unanimous understanding. Does anybody object? Besides James?
Are we on the same page? At least this point in
Yeah.
our timeline of what
Yes.
that whole scene really meant. Because I think it's important to
Yeah.
clarify, right?
I think that's fine.
Okay. So I would say that, as it stands right now, it's hinting that humans are forerunners. So okay.
Well, buckle in because we've got a lot of ground to cover. Tonight we gear up for the penultimate section of the Cole Protocol, covering chapters 27 through 50. Chapter 27. In his prison cell, Thel Vedami waits patiently for the right moment to make their move for escape. They've brandished a spear from a broken bed frame and he secures it with a rope to be recoiled. An Ungoi guard mocks the Sangheili prisoners, that is, until a sudden shockwave causes the prison to shake and the power is cut. In the resulting loss of artificial gravity, the creatures begin to float. The spear impales the Ungoi, and Thel reels the body back to the cell. They strip a plasma rifle from the corpse and are able to shoot the lock open. The power flickers back on and they return to gravity, but are quickly on the move. Busting into a main room, they quickly kill their Kigyar capturers. The situation now personal, Thel is resolute on finding out what the corrupt Kigyar, Ungoi, and humans are up to. Chapter 28. From their hiding place in the outer rubble, Grey Team observes the capture of Midsummer Night. Jai is eager to try and help, but is urged by caution by the appearing Juliana, the AI protector of the rubble. She requests that the Spartan team instead rescue Delgado from his prison cell. Only he knows the location of the sensitive navigation data, which seems to be at the epicenter of all of the conflicts. Grey Team decides whether to help and agrees on the basis that they add destroying the Kestrel to the list. Chapter 29. Thel and his small crew steal a Kigyar shuttle from the prison and board its main transport. They dispatch the Kigyar on board and take the ship's Ungois as prisoners. The vessel's deacon, an Ungoi named Pit-Pit, reveals that the vessel was en route to a planet named Metaseti. Further interrogation reveals that a Kigyar high commander by the name of Reth is building an army of loyal Ungoi in exchange for a methane-filled world that they can call their own. Knowing that his position in the Covenant depends on his ability to fill his orders, Thel has no doubts of traveling to this world and confronting Reth and his 100,000-strong grunt army. They descend through the mists of Metaseti, coming upon a river of liquid methane and its flow over a waterfall. At the top of the falls is a repurposed group of Kigyar freighters made into a makeshift city. Their transport lands and the elites in Spec Ops armor activate their camouflage. They enter an airlock and make their way to the bridge of the repurposed ship where they find and capture Reth. However, an alarm sounds and thousands of Ungoi begin to surround their building. They realize that the creatures do not have methane harnesses to allow them to function in normal oxygen environments. It would appear that the Kigyar still ruled the Ungoi on their own promised world.
Lots of cool
So-
details here. I think it kind of pointed. I think I called this out earlier, where the Kigyar seem to be, I don't know, power hungry, and Wrath here seems. We get into a little bit more detail later on, but Wrath here seems to be conveying that with convincing the Ungoi that, hey, I'll give you this world if you fight for me. And on that note, like the fact that I picture the Ungoi as like rabbits that are constantly just somehow reproducing to create hundreds of thousands of grunts. I don't know. It's just very
I
interesting.
was thinking the same thing. See, because this isn't the first time where they allude to how the Covenant actively monitors the Ungoi's breeding, and
Yeah.
I think like they control like the pheromones or what have you to control the population, and the Ungoi don't like that. It seems like they're a species that, left to their own devices, they don't stop reproducing.
What a life.
How long do Ungoi live again? What did we say? It was like 20-something years.
Yeah, it's not very long. Let me try to pull up that data again.
So they're kind of just like rabbits. They just, don't live super long, but, they make the most out of it.
58 Earth years. So quite a bit.
58.
It's still pretty long.
Yeah.
As long as
Longer
I
than I
thought.
would have expected.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, now I want to know how, like, okay, maybe do you guys want to know how they reproduce?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So Ungoi apparently actually lay eggs, the females, and they leave between 5 to 12 eggs per clutch. And then they quickly, within 5 to 8 years, they're technically adults in their population. So
Weird.
yeah. So they reproduce pretty fast. Yeah, interesting. I never would have pictured them being an egg laying species, but
I guess
so
they're
it
sort
is.
of like reptilian-like, so I guess that kind of tracks.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Really liked that scene where the Sanghili are breaking out of the prison. He like fashions this weapon from the bed frame, and like as the power gets cut, as they're floating around in zero gravity, taking out their guards and everything. I thought it was just really cool scene.
Yeah. I find it kind of ironic that, I mean, stupid Kigar and Ungoy to just put a bunch of Sangheili in not only cells, but the same cell and allowing them
Right.
like the ability to craft weapons and stuff.
Yeah, let's put them in with this cot made of metal.
Yeah.
And
They're only the best, they're called elite for a reason, right? They're only the best fighters that the Covenant have. No big deal.
I mean, I wonder why they keep them alive in the first place.
I
That's
think
a
it was
good-
like
They-
I thought it was. Go ahead.
I thought they said they wanted to like ransom them back
Yeah,
to their
that's
to their keeps, but then the elites were like, "That's stupid. We'd never go
yeah.
back. We'd rather just die."
Or no, that their culture wouldn't ever accept ransom. They wouldn't pay ransom.
Mm.
That's not part of their culture. Which
That was it. Yeah.
which leads into a point I wanted to bring up because there was this little section in this part, chapter 28, I think. 29. Sorry, 29. Where Thel kind of tells a little story about his lineage and how his family got brought up, And essentially it's a story about how his great ancestor was like I think he was a prisoner. He escapes, he goes out into the wilderness for a while, he slowly gains allies, and then he comes back for vengeance and he takes over, those who did him wrong. And that's essentially what he explained as the origin of his bloodline. And I just thought that was kind of a interesting take on this character, given potentially more story that we're going to see of him. So it's kind of
Yeah, I thought that was a cool story as well.
maybe like a foreshadowing sort of situation. So
Yeah.
I just like the whole chain of these chapters with the Sangheili and just how they're kind of live up to their names of elites. Just they're able to adapt, break out of prison, go after the Kigyar that capture them, and what was it? I think it may have been the end of one of these chapters. It was like Jar or someone who was asking, felt like, yeah, they have thousands. Are we really going to do that? He's like, yeah, we're elites. We're going to do it, and they're going to be afraid of us.
right. Adding on to that, I think it's interesting that the elites are in this position, or Sangheili are in this position because a brute, the Jirohane, turned on them, right? And incapacitated their ship and whatever. So it's really not their fault that they're in this position per se, but they're so scared of what the prophets might think in the end that they're like, there's nothing we can do but just fulfill this mission we're given by the regret. Otherwise, we're doomed. It's kind of crazy to think that way. Like, you're double crossed and you're in prison, and the only way you're going to survive either prison or returning to the Covenant is you need to still continue. You still need to complete your mission. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, they don't accept failure because, I mean, if I was in their shoes, I'd be like, yo, we failed the mission, but we literally got fucking betrayed by the people you sent us with,
Right.
But they're like, that'd be like dishonorable. So they're going forward.
The only way is forward.
Well, let us as well go forward here. Starting with Chapter 30. Lieutenant Jacob Keyes and his crew of the captured Midsummer Night are taken for prisoner processing in the rubble. A woman named Maria Esquivel explains that the rubble is a technocracy, and the UNSC captives will have the right to vote to remain prisoners or join as civilians in the rubble. As rumblings of his crew indicate that they might take their freedom, ODST officer Faison pushes Keyes to intervene. Keyes flounders at first, but makes a speech in which he asks his crew to remain loyal when his loyalty is required. Esquivel then steps in and detains Keyes and his bridge crew for a future in jail cells. Chapter 31. Grey Team has been following the Kestrel until it docked somewhere in the inner rubble. They plan to make the vessel inoperative by planting an EMP on its hull and making a stealthy escape. Their plan works until they are ambushed by militia fighters. They fight their attackers in the vacuum of space and are able to escape just before the bomb detonates. It appears that somebody knew that they were coming. In Chapter 32, Thel and his steward Saul are holding out against waves of Ungoy trying to retake the complex. The pair nearly run out of ammo as they await pickup by a shuttle. All the while, Reth pleads with Thel to release him, stating that he doesn't know what he is meddling in. In a final plea, Reth admits that he is under orders from the prophets. This is surprising and conflicting information. Thel's mission was ordered by the Prophet of Regret. Reth simply states, wrong prophet. Zara arrives with the ship, and they blow the windows out and climb on board for escape.
So yeah, I didn't want to get too much into this Ungoi world, this Tsar Kigyar that's controlling this army on this world, what it's all about, what's going on here. And I think it's time to talk about that. It seems like he was ordered to build this army by none other than a prophet. And Thel, right here, admits that that's surprising because they're there to essentially destroy them and under orders from a prophet. So what's going on here, guys?
There's the different prophets have like different machinations going on because obviously they have two different orders that kind of contradict each other. And it also makes me even think if Thal's, his backstabbing by the Jurahane, if that wasn't even part of the machinations of the other prophet. It all could be tied together.
But all right, so in this section, I'm not sure if he specifically said which prophet. I'm talking about Czar, which prophet that he is, or sorry, Reth, what prophet he is getting his orders from. Is it okay if we just reveal who that is for now, so we can talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it's not right now, he definitely does shortly. Say which prophet. So yeah.
All right, so Reth, again, the Kigyar that's controlling this Ungoi army, he's under orders from the Prophet of Truth, and then Bel and his followers are under orders from the Prophet of Regret. So yeah, it's clear that these two prophets are, either they're working against each other, or maybe it's two secret plans that are somehow coming together. I don't know, what exactly is going on here, but Thel seems like he's kind of caught in the middle of it. So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's either one or two things, right? Like these prophets, if you mentioned, like are completely trying to betray each other for some reason, or some orders are just not spoken of and kept secret for whatever reason, and so neither of them know about the other plan.
right.
Yeah, I think Jai says to Thel at some point, like, what games have we found ourselves in? Something along those lines, where they're trying to piece together, like, what exactly is happening. And of course, because they're elites, they're just like, the only way forward is the only way through this is forward.
You said
Was it,
Jai. I just want to confirm that you meant Saul,
Uh,
or
I'm not sure. One of the elite companions.
okay, but not Jai, right?
Was it Czar the one that was with that was interrogating Reth in the holding cell, and then Thel comes in and told him that this Kigar says he works for the prophets, and Thel just like reprimands him pretty harshly.
Yeah, that's actually 34, so we're not quite there yet. Again, I'm kind of mixing these chapters together.
Oh, jeez, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're short chapters. They kind of
Right.
do kind of blend it together.
Yeah.
Can I hit on chapter 30 real quick? So basically, it seems like the people, the rubble, are super open and reasonable. They're willing to take in these UNSC, the people, the crew that they captured. Well, one of the conditions for the people that want to openly integrate into their society is that they take a tracking pill. Well, something that I was thinking about was with all these crew members, why don't you give even the people that don't want to integrate into your society the tracking pill, right? You'd think you'd want to do that at least until, a decent amount of time passes by and, like, okay, we can trust these people. But, like, especially for the people that don't want to integrate, you would think you'd want to give them the tracking pill, right?
Yeah.
Well, don't they just go to prison?
I guess I wouldn't expect them to break out, but I think they mentioned that at some point. This could be going forward, but I don't think it's any huge spoiler if it is. But I think they mentioned at some point that the rubble isn't like the insurrectionists are kind of more of a minority than anything. Like the whole government for the rubble, it's kind of more. I wouldn't want to say reasonable is the right word, but more neutral. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think that was this chapter where this Escoval was kind of telling Keys that they're yes, there's rebels out here in the asteroid, but it's mostly refugees from Madrigal. There's miners and people that are like smuggling stuff. It's not just the rebels the whole time. And I was really interested when I read that section about how like they're willing to integrate these people like they captured into their society, so long as they follow their rules. So it was an interesting little turn there, I'd say.
If we got nothing else on these chapters, I will keep moving onward. That is not what the Sangheili do, but we're gonna do it anyways. Delgado is moved from his prison cell in the asteroid for a meeting with Bonifacio. Fearing his end is near, he is relieved when he is told that the nav data on board the Kestrel was wiped. Being the sole person who knows where the hidden shard is, he is still of value. He arrives and both Bonifacio and Diego are in attendance. Despite Delgado's efforts to resist, the pair convince him to hand it over. The data, Bonifacio says, will protect the future of the rubble, eventually explaining that they are enacting the Exodus Project and shifting the citizens to a safer, more hidden location. The Council has been selfishly hoarding slip space drives that were promised to the Covenant for their project vessel, and Bonifacio plans to hand everything over to strike a peace with the aliens. Delgado retrieves the chip from inside his spacecraft, but Diego protects him by stating he will be the one carrying it to Exodus. Bonifacio held his ruse long enough. He draws a pistol and demands the shard. Chapter 34. Saul interrogates Reth on board their vessel. Thel intervenes and chastises his fellow elite for not considering the alternatives. Reth says the same story, that the Prophet of Truth had ordered him to supply the humans Covenant weapons while building up an army of Ungoi. The plan being, once the Covenant have Earth's location, the Kigyar and Ungoi can capture the rubble for themselves. Thel does not want to believe this, as it means the status of the Sangheili will have dropped in the Covenant hierarchy, with his only options being believe the words of a Kigyar heretic, or follow the orders he was given by the hierarch Regret. He will continue with their mission as planned. The whole affair will be destroyed. In Chapter 35. Without thinking, Delgado jumped and collided into Bonifacio, the pair wrestling over the gun. Delgado rips the gun free, but hesitates firing when Bonifacio gets thrown another weapon. Diego is shot and Bonifacio is able to escape deeper into the ship. Delgado drags his dying mentor to the airlock, but too late. Bonifacio fires the engines and the vessel rips from its mooring. Bonifacio overrides the vessel's safety locks and allows the airlock to vent into space. Losing oxygen, Delgado remembers the transponder that the Spartans gave him. He activates the beacons and waits.
I love how these chapters go back and forth between all these colliding parties. But yeah, lots of action.
A lot of action happening, timelines skipping back and forth. I do kind of like that.
Bonifacio, like we talked about in our previous episode, he loves to just talk about his evil plot, his plans, giving all the details, explaining everything, a lot of exposition, He's like a cartoon character.
Very much so.
And a cartoon villain.
Here's the context of everything I have planned. I will tell you all details right now.
And that's why I put myself on the council.
Yeah.
So
or Delgado. He has to grow. Delgado needs to have a spine on him and be like, this guy literally tries to kill you, and just shoot, like pull the trigger, Delgado. Like he literally just tried to kill you both, and you know what he's gonna do with the data. So like, do it. I don't know that part. I was like a little sad. Like poor Diego.
Yeah, that's a lesson learned, I think.
One other thing to throw in here is it is ironic how the Sangheili, when learning about what Reth was saying about who gave him orders, the Sangheili is like, we can't believe that, which is very similar to the prophets with, we can't believe the humans are reclaimers, and the Sangheili is like, we can't believe that the Kigyar got different orders than us and are going to be, given more honor than us. So we can't have that happen.
Yeah. It's interesting that they're kind of foreshadowing that power shift even this early in the timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it was Thel or his subordinate said it, but he was just like they were worried about their position, their seniority in the Covenant as basically the Prophet's right hand species. That if there's this army of Ungoi and jackals, dealing with the Prophets, that's not good for Sangheli species. So
A lot
interesting
of
dynamic.
that one line, it's like one day that shall pass, when Reth is explaining to him about how the Sangheli might not be, the right hand of the prophets. Some foreshadowing there, maybe.
Yo, spoilers.
Or
That's all I'll
just
say.
could it be foreshadowing?
Cool. Shall we continue?
One last thing. I just want to say again that I like, Thel and his comrades, like, just, it seems like they're, like, deep in enemy lines. They're just trying to, like, puzzle together what the fuck is happening, and it's just fun reading through what they're, just trying to figure it all out.
Do you think there's any like normal Sangheli that are just like going in to do my job today and then like go back home?
Oh, that's not
Like
honorable, bro.
little
Oh,
junior.
there must be like there's got to be like on the Sangheli homeworld. There's got to be like little accountant Sanghelis and
I mean,
Or
yeah, like
farmer
there's
go
definitely
Sangheli.
people
run
doing
be a
like
farmer, but they're all. I feel like they all go about their jobs with the same intensity of like I will take out this trash like my
Yeah.
life depends on it.
Yeah. We can't bring dishonor to
My
our line.
spreadsheets will honor my ancestors.
I know we already went past this chapter, but I also want to add, like, when they went in to get Wrath from like the tower building thing, I thought that was really cool. It's fun to read. All this like massive army of Ungoi are trying to like get in, but they can't all get in because like it's normal auctionated in there, so only the Ungoi with like the harnesses and the methane can get in, and they're starting to get overwhelmed, and then like they jump out the window and get picked up by the ship and stuff. I thought it was fun to read too.
yeah, that was a cool battle scene.
A world of methane, perfect for the Ungoi. Interesting.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. It is also interesting that it seems like most Covenant breathe some kind of typical oxygen focused air, and it's
Yeah.
only the Ungoi who seem to breathe off of methane. One question I have is how quick do you think communication happens with Covenant ships or Covenant in general? Because humans, depending on where they're trying to send messages to, that can take a long time still. So, like, are these messages from Prophet Truth and Prophet Regret, like, are they delayed or did they happen maybe at the same time? They kind of happen at the same time. They could get over there for a while. But, like, how quick do you think the communication happens between sending out a message and getting a response?
Well, I guess considering that was it the Gerald Hani that went back, had to go back to reveal what they found to the prophets or High Charity or something. I would say that it's kind of like humans, It seems like they're far away from wherever High Charity is, so they don't have any real like direct
Yeah.
communication. Probably takes a while. I just assumed these were kind of orders given out, and then it's like, okay, here are your tasks. Go out, and kind of picturing like some 15th, 16th century explorers, like just go that direction in the Atlantic, and then find us gold and come and land and spices and whatever they're finding. Tom's gonna just roast me on that, but
Perfect.
Perfect.
um,
Go find
I know
spices.
nothing about
Get away from me.
that's right. It's only Rome.
Be back for
Only
dinner.
Rome.
Be back before nightfall.
We should really count how many actuallys come from each of us, and is it a winning trophy or a losing trophy if you're on actually for a bit?
Oh God. I don't like. I've been losing a lot lately.
I would just
That's
say
me holding.
I'm
So
on that quite a bit. I'm just making stuff up.
Robby, you're bringing up that the Jurohani had to race back to High Charity. They destroyed Thel's ship, right? And they had to race back
Yep.
to High Charity to, I guess, Thel was the only one that like assumed this, but that they would go tell about the rubble themselves.
Yeah.
Instead of
Yep.
I'm thinking right now, actually, this kind of revelation hit me because we know that the prophet of regret, who's the one giving Thel orders, he's kind of along this journey right now. He's not in high charity. Thel was meeting with him personally as they're seeing the destruction of Sharbidis or whatever. And
Right.
so regret is with that party, whereas truth still back on high charity. We know now that truth is the one building this army on this planet. Do you think that the Jirohane was under orders from then truth to stop Thel and his group from doing anything in the rubble? So maybe they're kind of on board with the whole plan here as well, you know?
That's what I was trying to say. That
Yeah.
maybe that's why they were betrayed, because they were working for the prophet of truth instead of regret.
Right. Okay.
So regret was
I know I
the
can't be. Go ahead.
regret was the prophet that was sitting next to the oracle.
Right.
Right. He was the
Yep.
one that was kind of caretaking it. And then Truth he's the one that we were kind of following for most of the, I can't even remember what book it was at this point,
Intact Harvest.
but he was the real mastermind behind everything, right?
Yeah, I'd say Truth is definitely like the ringleader, and Regret was the one that was only brought in because he was physically there, you know,
Right, by happenstance. Yep.
by happenstance. So and Regret,
Because he saw the real Truth.
I got yeah, you're right. Regret's also, and I don't know if this is important or not right now, but he's also the oldest. He's much older than the other two. So
I also feel like maybe regret doesn't really understand the implications of what the oracle said that day. Like,
what makes you say that?
because in Contact Harvest, it seems like he's not all there.
I don't know, man. He named himself Regret.
Oh,
He regrets being
But
there.
they named them. No, I
Shouldn't have
feel
gone to
like
work.
the prophets named themselves.
guys
We
might be
talked
onto
about this
something.
in the past. The prophets named themselves the opposite of what they truly are. So the prophet truth holds lies, right? Hence lying about the humans and lying about everything like that. I guess what's the opposite of regret?
I don't think we truly know yet what the irony of all those names are, but Truth, I'd say, is the clearest as of right now. Like, he is the one that fabricated this whole shindig,
Yeah.
this whole lie. So
Yeah, that was a good point, though, right? Remember that he was the former minister of fortitude who smoked too much?
right,
Yeah.
That was like his intro
way
line.
too high. Yeah, the minister of fortitude had smoked too much. Never again, he vowed. All right. Before we move on,
Ready to move on? Yep.
just before we move on, does anyone have a good understanding and can elaborate on the Exodus project and what this is all about? Anyone care to take a stab?
From the current readings, there are not many details, but it does become more clear later in the book. They explain a lot of it.
Okay.
Do you want me to elaborate or leave it
No,
at that?
then we'll touch on it.
Yeah, we'll touch on it. Similar to how the Kigyar. We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Just my guess from where we're at is that Exodus means mass leaving. They're going to sell all the information to the Kigyar and then just bail. That's just that's just what I gather from it. That's all I'm guessing.
Yeah, the name kind of helps a lot here. And obviously, like they talk about the slip drives and all of that. And
Mhm.
I mean, they did mention like it is gonna be what saves the rebel folks and bring them to safety. So you can kind of piece together at least like what the plan is.
Well, let's keep chugging forward. Chapter 36. Reth licks his wounds, a prisoner on his own vessel. His plan was going smoothly until the Sangheli showed up, and he laments the fading opportunity to fulfill the Prophet of Truth's orders and be rewarded his own rubble habitat. The payoff is too great to sit idly. He crawls to the energy gate and coaxes his Ungoi guards to release him. He disables the vessel's drive and makes his escape in an escape pod. The Kigyar can prove to the prophets that they are capable warriors. Chapter 37, Gray Team on board Petya race for Delgado. The status readouts do not look good, the airlock is damaged, and there's silence inside. Still, with deft maneuvers, Spartan Mike races in and docks. They open to find the bodies of Delgado and Diego. The latter has already been deceased. They drag the bodies on board and fit an oxygen mask on Delgado. As he comes to, he explains what happens and warns Bonifacio is en route to hand over the nav data. The AI Juliana hatches a plan to split Gray Team, one stopping Bonifacio and the other to sneak on board a Kigyar vessel to figure out their plans. Even for a few Spartans, the plan is risky, and Jai suggests breaking out the ODST prisoners for assistance. With that, the groups depart to stop a Covenant mutiny. Chapter 38. Reth crash lands back onto Mediset and retakes control of his forces. The Sangheli seem to have gotten their ship working again, but are not pursuing him. It's time to put his plan into motion. With his dream of a Kigyar fleet of slip-space vessels, he will take the human stockpile of engines, capture the asteroid city, and make for Earth. His Ungoi fighters gear up and he awaits arrival from Bonifacio. Chapter 39. From his prison cell, Keyes hears commotion from outside. He peers through the door to see the corridor burst open by an armored Spartan. Dispatching the guards, he is freed by Jai and his AI counterpart. They explain the need to commandeer a Jackal ship, and if Keyes can pilot a captured vessel, they can slip the two out together. Back in the fight, they will work together to figure out what the Covenant are up to. So it's cool now to get the perspective of Reth himself.
Yeah. About the whole Exodus thing and his dealings with the humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Want to elaborate?
Now he truly was working for the Prophet of Truth, which the Sangheli have kind of dismissed for the most part leading up to this.
Right.
But it kind of Yep. Go ahead, Will.
I like how he disables their ship on his way out.
Yeah, he's a sneaky little effer. He's crafty, it seems, you know.
It just like adds to like this adventure that the elites are on in this book. It's like nothing is going to their plans, and they're just like, we'll do this, we'll do that, and there's all these like bumps in the road, things getting in their way. It's fun.
Well, we left Delgado at the shootout aboard his vessel, and in races Gray Team. I think Will pointed out last episode that there was no Gray Team at all in last section's chapters, but like tonight we're getting a lot of them, and they're racing in and pick up Delgado in the nick of time. I like the Gray Team chapters too, I think.
Oh, one last thing about chapter 36 is I like how the Ungoi, it seems like they're constantly stuck in the middle. Like, it didn't really take that much for Thel to get some of the Ungoi on his side when he captured that ship and he spoke to what was like Pip Pat.
Right.
And it also doesn't really take that much for Ref to get his guards on his side and to let him free. It seems like the Ungoi have like no problems just like switching alliances.
I think it's as long as they live.
Yes,
They're just so afraid of getting squashed.
Like they're trying to benefit themselves. Yeah.
Well, I think it also kind of shows like the Kigyar how they're kind of more crafty, they could persuade you even though they're not the most physical specimen, which is interestingly enough, when playing the games, you always see the lead and you're like always scared for them, and Kigyar they're just like the snipers, but they're typically not intimidating, but you see their other talent shine through here.
Yeah, I think the game doesn't really highlight really well all the deep detail of the different races of the Covenant, how like it's not just constant warriors of different shapes and sizes that you typically fight in the game, right? Like there's deeper meaning behind all of them. So that's the one thing I really do appreciate about going through these books and these mediums.
I agree. I second that. It's awesome getting the Covenant view.
Also, I'll just call out that obviously the Rebel AI, is now part of the plan. Obviously, like her goal is making sure the rubble is safe and secure and the people on it is safe and secure. That's her main purpose. But it's interesting how the AI has determined that, okay, these people that the rubble thinks are traitors should be the ones that we should ultimately help to then protect the rubble. I don't know,
Right.
I found that interesting.
All these outsiders essentially fighting for
Yeah.
the rubble. And
Do we think Juliana knows about the Exodus project?
I would only imagine.
gotta assume she's complicit
Well,
in that. Yeah.
yeah, well, like she's AI and she goes to anything that's connected in the system. So like
Yeah.
I assume she can tap into security cameras or something and figure it out that way if she really needed to. But yeah, I assume she has an idea about it. We find
Yeah.
out again
Yeah,
more.
I think they
Go ahead.
imply that like, when she clones herself, she leaves a part of herself behind to manage the rubble because it would like fall apart with her not micromanaging its movements and stuff.
Okay.
With how loudmouth Bonifacio's been, I'd find it hard to believe if she didn't know anything about Project Exodus.
That's true.
As
Well, since we... Oh,
sorry,
go ahead, Charlie.
quickly, as an aside, off the record here, when do we learn that the humans were gonna steal the slip space drives? I know it's in these chapters.
Hmm.
I think,
like
I
a-
mean, I think mentions how he knew that the humans were like keeping some of the slip space engines, like not giving them all of them that they had or whatever.
Right.
I feel like Bonifacio is also, and I do remember them saying that well, but I do also think that Bonifacio may have even mentioned about keeping some extra slip space drives or something. I can't remember the exact
Yeah.
context, but I feel like both of them kind of subtly mentioned that.
Right. Because Refs like mentions like, yeah, these humans thought they were like so slick, keeping some of the slip space drives from us, and I mean, and we finally find out like what exactly Ref's plan was, which is after they get the nav data for Earth, they were just gonna take over the rubble and kill everybody.
Imagine that. Shocker.
So it wasn't, they weren't
Yeah,
actually, you know, working and helping the humans build like a utopia. There's dark intentions behind all this.
Alrighty. Let's roll.
Yep, still got 10 more chapters to discuss, so let's keep cooking. Chapter 40. Thel interrogates the Ungoi cell guard who let Reth go. Knowing he needs more fighters, he spares the creature but threatens that their loyalty is the only thing keeping them alive. They have fighters for now. He then addresses the disgraced Saul, who wants to regain his honor, and tells him he will be leading the Ungoi to capture the Kigyar flagship, Infinite Spoils. With the vessel in hand, they can destroy the rubble and the treasonous Kigyar forces. Chapter 41. Delgado has stolen a council vessel and docked to the prison. In steps Jacob Keyes and they work together to prepare for the next steps. They will dock this vessel to the Kigyar ship called Infinite Spoils, and the ODSTs can infiltrate and plant Juliana on board. But the vessel is likely guarded, so they come up with a distraction. Dislodge some mined asteroids and float them in the direction of the target. The plan is desperate, but the team now has a de facto leader in Keyes. Chapter 42. Spartans Mike and Adriana are tailing Bonifacio. Just before he manages to clear the rubble, they make their move. They fire missiles into its engines and disable his craft. Mike swoops his ship in, and Adriana boards under fire from Bonifacio's guards. Firefight in the vessel changes their minds, and they surrender, stating that Bonifacio has holed himself into an escape pod. Bonifacio comes on comms and strikes a deal with the Spartans. Let him blast clear and far enough to escape, and he will reveal where he stored the net data. Pushed for time, Adriana reluctantly agrees. Bonifacio makes his escape, but the Spartans finally secure the dangerous data. With Bonifacio as good as dead, they blast off to help with the others.
Lame.
Why do you say lame?
They just let him freaking go. They let him blast off.
Yeah.
Into
They
space.
should have taken his ass out.
Yeah.
They killed Diego.
Yeah, I agree. Like, just blow that shit up.
and then he's gonna come back later, give a big speech about his evil plan,
His evil return.
and they're gonna have to take
You thought I
him
was
out for
going.
real.
Listen to my soliloquy about my evil return.
Oi, Tugga.
Oi, Tugga. You listen to my soliloquy.
Listen to my soliloquy about Project Exodus.
Boy around the galaxy.
Fight?
Yeah, so I mean, do we all agree that the deal is freaking stupid?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
but
agreed.
Adriana did say that like people would be coming after him and he'd suffer a worse fate. But I don't know. I feel like you should just
I know that's
take
like you're
care of
putting it to
business now.
chance.
Floating off in space until he runs out of oxygen and food.
Yeah.
That might be
The
fitting.
hardest thing for me to picture about the Rebel and all like everything going on and all these ships is just like how much of a clusterfuck it should has to be. Like, do we know the distance in between these asteroids and traveling kind of corridors between them? Because like I don't know, I just feel like everything's very compact. Because like, how do you not just shoot that escape pod back at the Rebel?
'Cause that wasn't the deal.
I guess so.
And answer your question, because they said that they're interconnected like rocks, right? Rubble.
Yeah.
There's interconnected things, so they got to be close enough to do that. But then there was also, and I can't think of specific examples, but it said that there's also like space in between them that like these big vessels can hide out in and stuff like that. So like I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just love to see like a rendering or some kind of map of how do you even traverse this whole thing, and I don't know.
It's at least close enough that they could physically make like tunnels connecting. That's a good point, though. Like, is it big enough that like pedestrians could walk through, or they need to take some sort of tram system or some cars or something like that?
Yeah, I understood it as like there's like trams slash elevators that can go along these paths to transport people, but I think there's also like the ability for cars to go in between things. I don't know. It's just interesting. And let's move on because it gets even better.
Yep. Let's move on. Chapter 43. Keyes and his vessel follow the stray asteroid as it launches towards infinite spoils. His crew prepares to board amid the chaos, and the AI Juliana corresponding with the Kigyar and updating the boarding party. As the asteroid passes danger close, the crew launches their attack and infiltrates the Jackal freighter. Chapter 44. Mike, along with the contingent of ODSTs, storm the freighter and fight their way to the bridge. As the Jackal bodies are cleared, Keyes is brought up with the chip of Juliana to plug into the vessel. Before he does so, there is an alert from Delgado. Covenant vessel is inbound, looking to engage. Chapter 45. Thel and his crew rush in to destroy the humans attacking infinite spoils. They don't quite understand what is happening, but the Kigyar are getting what they deserve for their dealings with their humans. Thel launches plasma shots into the human vessel. Chapter 46. Delgado, still on board, feels the violent explosion of plasma strikes. He announces over comms that he is abandoning the vessel and entering the Jackal ship. He runs into the Helljumper commander, Phazon, and they retreat up to the bridge. Turning a blind corner, Phazon is struck by Jackal fire. Delgado is able to kill the creature, but Phazon is hit bad. As he bleeds out, he orders Delgado to push on regardless.
These chapters are coming like super bang bang quick.
I mean, yeah, they're very short and like impactful, I think.
Were you woohooing about?
Yeah, not just like I don't know what similar thought of like things that are getting even more exciting, and I think like slowly all of these characters are now converging not only in the same area but like literally the same kind of battle scenario.
Yeah, that's a
So
good point.
like now they're crossing paths.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to touch on that last chapter. Like, Delgado was mentioning that basically from his counter Bonifacio, he was a little rough, so he was kind of straggling behind Phazon, and then Phazon turns the corner way quicker and just gets jumped, and Delgado finishes him off. And I thought it was very interesting that Phazon requests like, hey, take my assault rifle, or was it a battle rifle? Either way, he's like, hey, take this, give me your shitty pistol, and then he gives them what is Delgado's pistol name?
Oh yeah, here.
It's like La Senora, I want to say something.
Senora Size, SIES, which
Senora size.
anyone good enough in Spanish to know that?
How's it
Doesn't mean anything to
spelled?
me.
Senora is like miss.
Yeah, Senora is
Miss.
like miss.
Miss.
Yeah,
But
how is spell? What is size?
how's size spelled?
SIES.
It's not SEIS?
SIES.
I don't know what that means.
Is it a typo?
I plugged it into Google Translate. It just says Mrs. Yes.
If it is. Oh, SIES for me from Spanish to English is if it is. That's how Google translated that for me.
Well, if 2 words CS.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But
I was looking Google too.
no.
I'm like, yeah.
Oh, I see. CS. Yeah.
CS.
So
But then-
miss if it
But
is.
all in one word is nothing altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
Okay.
gets the Mamacita pistol.
I was just saying. It calls Delgado Poppy when it fires.
Yeah, puppy.
According to Halopedia, it says the handgun's name is likely misspelling of Yunora Sace. Sace.
Yeah, it's just 6.
Spanish
Oh.
for Mrs. Stick,
Yeah, miss
which is a play on the weapon being an M6.
That's just 6. Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Yeah, that's what I wondered that too. Like, did they just do it wrong, either on purpose or I don't know.
That's funny.
That's bad, guys.
I mean, it's misspelled.
I like Ms. If it is.
We got there though.
Well, Senora Sace is a nice piece.
Poor Faison though. I feel like it's one of those moments where you're like, okay, this badass Marine, like nothing can hurt him and stop him, and then it's almost like he tripped and shot himself in the head, kind of scenario, right? Where he's just running around this hallway and turns the corner and just boom, dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually kind of felt sad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but kind of in his very noble helldiver training, he's like, don't even call a medic team. Like, just get your ass out of here. Like, I'll just hold him off with Senora size as long as possible.
Yeah, I kind of pictured him like Delgado running away, and he's just sitting there like screaming, like, "And you get some, and you get some," and then like pulls a grenade and blows himself up.
Yeah.
That would be in the Hollywood rendition
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, 100%.
No, I'm picturing that as like the
Arnold.
scene pops up like super. No, not Arnold. Oh my God, what's the bug movie?
Starship Troopers.
Starship
Yeah,
Troopers.
Starship Troopers. I think there's a guy who gets messed up and literally does that with a shotgun. He's like, "Can you get?" As the bugs swarm him, and that's literally
Yeah.
what I'm picturing in my mind.
Up with drones. Please object. I've had too
Leading
much
the
UV
witness.
blue spiked watermelon tonight. Shall we move on? Close this out?
Yeah.
Wrap it.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 47. Keys plugs Juliana into the Kigyar console, and she gets to work looking for information on the Jackal's plans. She finds what she expected. The humans in the rubble are in danger, and the Jackal promises are lies. They will need to make a stand against the aliens. Keys pulls Juliana out of the console, and the group will exit to the docks as Spartan Jai announces he will be attempting to rescue Phazon. Chapter 48. Thel and his crew step aboard the Kigyar ship Infinite Spoils. They had to rip through the docked human ship to gain access, and his patience is running thin. He sends his Ungoy fighters to the bridge, while the Sanghili will clear the dockside airlock. En route, they turn a corner and receive fire. Zara manages to kill the human, who apparently was already injured and left behind. Just then, a large armored human bursts through and entangles themselves with Thel. The pair fight close quarters and have their weapons knocked aside. They square up, and Thel realizes he is equally matched for the first time. The armored human retreats back through the dock, effectively surrendering the ship to Thel. They will disembark, pick up Sal, and weigh their options. Chapter 49. The human crew is fighting it out on the dock hangar when the Kigyar ship dislodges itself. Both sides of the fight are confused, but they are quick to keep up the fire. Jai, now returned, suggests to open the compartment and flush the jackals out to space. Their suits are sealed for oxygen, but this means that someone would have to run out of cover and patch Juliana in. The Spartan takes the lead, running through the plasma fire to reach a terminal. The bay doors are open, and the remaining jackals are suffocated or shot. Mike and Adriana return on their ship, and they move aboard to discuss next plans. And Chapter 50. On board Infinite Spoils, Thel and Zar weigh their position. It appears the humans have gained information confirming the Kigyar invasion plans, but this also confirms that Reth had been telling the truth, that the Prophet orders have contradicted each other, and they are both as innocent and guilty of treason. Thel proposes to come to an agreement with Reth, destroying the rubble, but sparing the Kigyar, and their base seems to straddle both sides, and hopefully save their skins.
Yeah.
So,
Damn.
kind of titanic battle
Mhm.
between Jai and Thel. Interesting.
Before
you
we
know,
get into
section.
that, it's
Yeah.
it's like presumed that if Phazon didn't give his gun away, that Thel would have been killed right there, right? Or
Ooh.
would it have been Czar that had been killed right there?
Zar was the one
Like,
that he turned the corner and got hit, grazed or
okay, so it
whatever.
would have been Czar.
Right. That's an interesting thought that,
Because
you know,
he says something along the lines like, if he had a more powerful weapon, I could have been seriously hurt or something along those lines.
it's an interesting thought.
Wish the Sangheili is as good as dead, anyways.
Ooh, what do you mean?
If he got seriously hurt, like crippled, like what was his
Oh,
face was, right?
Hmm.
Better to
Oh,
die
yeah.
than be
Yeah.
crippled.
For honor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. Anytime they shoot the Covenant with a battle rifle, it takes too many shots.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just
That's like the
saying.
worst. That's like the worst weapon in the game. I'd rather have the pistol.
No, I love battle. No, it depends on which game. The
I
pistol
thought you
is
meant.
pretty OP.
I thought you meant assault rifle. Yeah, I'd have.
No,
I take the
yeah,
battle.
I got battle rifle. Yeah, the assault rifle's garbage. But yeah, really cool battle with Jai versus Thel. I think that was cool.
It was kind of interesting that afterwards, Czar was kind of like, "Hey, this human, yeah, they left him die, but he fought to the very end. Like they might have some honor."
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of almost like relating to the humans for a little bit.
Yep. And there seems to be a little bit of, not second guessing, but just like further thought from Thel. It was in his perspective being told this, right? That yeah, maybe the humans, they can fight, they can be honorable, He just fought one and it was an even one-on-one battle. It is kind of a little change, I guess, in his character about the humans. Again, might be something interesting going forward for the character like Thel. But I do. All right. So now that we're here on this battle and Thel ran into this Spartan, he's making it seem like they have no idea what Spartans are, right?
Yeah.
Which I wanted to bring up this sort of discrepancy because obviously we just read Silent Storm and Oblivion where Sangheili shipmasters are fighting the Spartans. They have whole missions on trying to destroy the Spartans, but yet here Thel and his followers are like, "What the hell was that?" And it's definitely doesn't fit, right?
Yeah, doesn't make sense. I mean, this is pretty, this is midway through the war, right?
Essentially, yes. But pragmatically, big picture wise, this was an earlier book, right? And if we're considering, or James, do you want to look up the release order of the books?
Yeah.
I think this was 2007.
But did this come before or after Contact Harvest?
Yeah, sorry. The Cold Protocol came a year ahead. Yep. Sorry. Contact Harvest came a year before the Cold Protocol.
Oh, okay.
But you said it's a 6th book in release order?
Correct.
Okay. So considering, let's take the books in chronological order here, where we have Fall of Reach starts off with the kids, but then goes all the way to 2552, right? And chronologically, Contact Harvest was before this, but that had nothing to do with the Spartans per se, right? That was just Marines on the planet. So they might not have known about Spartans at that time. And then release order wise, the sixth book then would be the Cole Protocol, which kind of fills that gap between Harvest and the Fall of Reach, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just assuming at this point in Bungie's reign that that maybe the Covenant has never really run into Spartans that much, you know?
But what about all the stuff like in Silent Strike and the other books that we read where they're fighting blue team all over the place?
Right, but what I'm saying is release order wise, this is the sixth book of Bungie's reign.
Oh,
right?
I see what you're saying. At the time,
Early-
yeah.
Yeah, early release schedule that maybe that was the way they were kind of going with it. And it's clearly a retcon now that we have further material to dive into, right?
Yep, makes sense. I like how Thel, it seems like he was a little shaken by that fight.
I mean, he almost died. Yeah. Again, you're talking about these people who, this whole race, and especially the warrior class, where there isn't much competition between them and anything else. And then they come across a human and whatever this larger thing is fighting with the human that literally almost kills him and Zar. So I'd be a little shook up too. It is interesting at the end of chapter 50 where Bella's also trying to figure out, like, realizing that, Wrath was doing his duty too, and so maybe he shouldn't be punished, but how do they both fulfill their mission and also don't be looked as, like, treason for,
Right.
for the mismatch between the prophets?
That's a good point. Again, going back to what we talked about earlier, where how do you walk that line between two contradicting orders that could possibly kill you? It's interesting. I'm curious how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I mean, Thel says something along lines when one of the other guys is like literally said what you just said, Charlie, and he's just like, dude, that's heresy, what you're saying. And he's like, nonetheless, that's the situation we find ourselves in. So like, they're in a bad situation where even if they do everything right, they could still end up getting like killed because you can't have like two prophets going against each other, Like you can't have that going out to the rest of the Covenant or anything like that.
Excited to see what becomes of our last section of this book. Building up really good.
Yep.
Excited.
A lot of great chapters we went through tonight.
A lot of chapters and a lot of great chapters, yes.
Great chapters.
The
great
chapters.
Well, now we switch to our Season 2 PvP tournament. But first, for today's sponsor, just ask any UNSC Marine what they smoke, and they'll all tell you the same thing. Hand-rolled Sweet Williams. Sweet Williams cigars are made from carefully selected tobacco from 3 of the top fertile planets in human-occupied space to give you an experience to keep on coming back for. And that's just not the opinion of your favorite hosts here. In a blind taste test, 9 out of 10 people preferred Sweet Williams over Macanudo cigars. Unfortunately, they didn't fare so well with Ungoy's Sorry Dad Dad. Sweet Williams cigars pair perfectly with whiskey and good times. It's a perfect way to toast a new graduate, to celebrate a win, or even just appreciate good company. Celebrate sweet victory with Sweet Williams.
Was it sweet?
Yeah, Sweet Williams are
sweet,
great.
Sweet victory. Yeah.
A little lore, my name, William, is because my old lady, she loves smoking Sweet Williams, when she was pregnant with me.
Oh, wow.
Well, that certainly explains a lot.
Yeah.
That's why you're so sweet.
Yes. Yep. A little bit of lore right here.
Also, Will, I don't think I'd ever call my mom my old lady, but you do come from a different state, so I'll leave it at that.
I could have worded that better.
Just maybe.
Well, let's move on to our PvP tournament. Here's a recap of Season 2, Match 16. James was in charge of the pick, with Jim absent. 5 points were in play in the Slayer match on Ascension in Halo 2. With low gravity and pistols/grenades, James took the win, and with it, further lead in the standings. Here's the updated tournament standings after a 16th match of Season 2. James rolling away with it with 63 points. Will is our second place with 48. Myself, Robby, I have 43. And Charlie is not too far behind me with 42. Coming in fifth right now is Jim with 25, and Tom not too far behind him with 22. So winner gets more odds on picking, and the wheel has not strayed. James, what are we playing?
Yeah, first off, I have kind of two ideas, but I want to know how crazy do we want to kind of go.
Do we have 6 tonight?
We have,
Oh,
we
here,
have
baby.
6 tonight.
Full house.
So would we rather be throwing things or just mixing things up? That's your 2 hints.
Mixing things up?
I vote mixing. I think.
Yeah, I like mixing
Fine.
things up.
Mixing things up. We're
Period up.
gonna do a little Fiesta Rumble. So we're gonna be playing Halo 3. The map I want is Guardian. And for those of you who don't know what Fiesta mode is, it's a free-for-all mode where every life you randomly get a new loadout. Who knows kind of what the game will pick for you. May the odd be ever in your favor.
They never are.
And usually, not to lose big.
Oh, perfect, James. Well, don't be deceitful like Bonifacio or Reth. Wear that TGJ listenership with pride. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Great Journey Pod. We're on
Great
most
Journey Pod.
major podcast platforms, and we'd greatly appreciate your likes, your comments, and your follow on these platforms to help boost our visibility. Our fighters have entered the ring. Hundreds of thousands of grunts and jackals versus some floaty rock space humans. Who will win? Let us know your thoughts. Feel free to give us your input on the media, the topics we discuss, and even your ideas on how to improve or what we should cover next. We welcome you to join the journey. If you feel like supporting our show, you could also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/The Great Journey Pod. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. With it, we can offset costs of hosting platforms, editing software, music subscriptions, and of course, the actual media, all of which are the things that allow this project to keep on progressing. We aspire to be an interesting, thoughtful, and fun contribution to the Halo community. As a TGJ Patreon member, you will receive live on one of our episodes, and should you choose, we'll answer a question of yours on air as well. You know, you could ask us something like, which character so far would you most like to party with?
I think Sergeant Johnson would
Cortana.
be a good time.
Johnson would be cool.
Yeah.
Keys would be a good alcoholic person to hang out with too.
Prophet of Fortitude. Are you guys kidding me? The dude, he just talked about how they opened up his introduction with bro smoke too much and party too hard.
But I don't know if I want to be caught hanging
Smoke
around
some
with a
space weed.
floating blob of crap. I'm gonna hang out with Dr. Halsey. I'm bringing Halsey back. She was hot when she was younger. So young Halsey, thank you.
I'm gonna go with any ODST person. I bet you they throw Ragers.
Oh, good one.
That
I
would
think they
get
do like
wild.
a hell jumper, like jump onto the table, like just slam.
Dude,
into the
no,
ground.
you
my
get
God,
you
Bill's
get
Mafia.
drunken.
Yeah.
You get drunken fucking tattoos. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Again,
true.
I've seen Starship Troopers. I know how these Marines work.
Right.
I mean, look at what they did to Keys. They just gave him a tattoo.
I'd party with lighter than some because
Yeah.
Oh, how
That's cute.
cute.
he seems
I don't
seems
think-
like
I don't think he can drink, but that's cute.
he might not drink, but like he'd like create something out of nothing.
Cool party tricks.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
What are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you working on over
Make
there?
balloons. He's like,
I'll
you
take
know,
it.
Balloon animals
making
in the corner.
balloon noodles and dogs and cats. Charlie's sitting there in a chair going.
Charlie's like, wait, where'd you get this copper pipe from?
Yeah, just like ripping apart your apartment.
LTS, did you just steal the Declaration of Independence? What? This is getting crazy.
Will,
Man.
who would you?
Oh,
What
I
character?
said Johnson, 100%.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
that's a good one.
Tartarus would also be a good one. It's showing me how to use one of
Nah,
those
yeah.
gravity hammers.
Nah, those guys. Those guys do not seem like fun. I feel like I'm gonna upset them and just get my head smashed in. Like they
That's
always
fair.
want to fight.
Oh yeah, man. I was gonna say Fortitude, but I might go with Delgado. I feel like he knows some good dive bars.
Yeah.
Good old Diver.
Dive bar. Well, any last thoughts to run? Anybody? Well, our great journey continues.
Great journey.
Great journey.
Catch us next week as we put a bow on the Kroll Protocol and maybe this season. We discuss the final chapters 51 through its conclusion. As always, we thank you, listener, for taking the journey along with you, and we'll see you here next time for the next installment of The Great Journey.
The great journey.
Hey, this is Jim, the worst gamer and your favorite co-host on The Great Journey. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you want to connect with us, you can find us on most podcast platforms, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Great Journey Pod. And if you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/The Great Journey Pod. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next chapter of The Great Journey.
No worries. I'm picking up some wine from the corner store right now.
Wine. Hell yeah.
I'm a fancy man.
Oh.
What can I say?
Is there a red one or a white one?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. What should I get?
Oh,
Best of both worlds. Do rosé, baby.
Rosé. All right.
Rosé all day. We want an update on the wine selection.
Rosé, just like you guys said.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Fancy. I went for $13 bottle for you guys.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
not quite bottom shelf, and it's not quite top shelf.
Yeah, you got changed back
What's
for
that?
20 on that one. That's nice.
What'd you use with the $7?
Nothing yet.
Second bottle of rosé.